Okay, it says preparing to live stream.
Yeah, it says that you are is being live streaming.
Okay, brilliant. Let me bring that up. Like that. Okay, it says preparing to live stream.
Yeah, it says that you are
Okay, we are live streaming. Let me just turn off my sound, otherwise we're going to get an echo, which we don't want. Turn off my sound. Brilliant. Cool. Fantastic. Thumbs up, Carmita.
Well, I want to share with you something that I found very fascinating, and people seems not to realize it. And it is that you are creating your life every day with every decision you are taking. If we were conscious of that, our lives will be fulfilling, joyful, and full of passion, intention, and joy. And why I say that? Because even when you are not taking a decision, when you decide, let's see what's coming, you are deciding. Because everything that happens in your life is a consequence of your decisions. So if the life you are living at this moment is not the life where you feel happy, where you feel fulfilled, it means that in the past you have taken decisions that were not the right ones. And it doesn't mean that you have to live all your life in misery, but it means that you have to start to become more mindful, more aware, and first of all, to be clear, what do you want? Because we can come from any type of background. We all have a trauma in some or another way, either created during our childhood for those people that were taking care of us, or created by decisions that we have taken in the past. But we all can come from a misery point of view. What is important is not to continue dwelling in that misery, but to stand up and start to think or decide, what do you want? And then that decision will guide your actions every day, one day in, one day out. And how you get there? You get there getting to know yourself better, and most of all, getting to love yourself more. And that loving yourself more will come from accepting what had happened. For harder than it can be, you cannot change the past, but you can change your mind at the moment to create a different future. Because in the future, what you create now will be your past. So you have the opportunity to recreate your past from now onwards. And in doing that, is a decision. That's why a decision is so powerful, because at any moment in your life, you can decide to stop, breathe, look ahead with different eyes, and decide where you want your life to go. I think that that's what you have done. That's what I have done. That's what we all have done. And we have now the opportunity to help others and tell them, yes, you are suffering. I have been suffering too. Still, we have, even though if we are already living a fulfilling life, still those memories will come. And still they will hurt. Mm. But then we have to see again, we cannot change what happened in the past. But we can change to see that with different eyes. And we can decide to see that with different eyes, and we can decide to find the help that we need. And what type of help is that? It can come on different ways. We can have psychotherapies or a different type of therapies. We can learn new ways. We can decide to work on forgiveness. And when I say work on forgiveness, I'm not saying that you will condone what those people have done to you in the past, but you will start to clean your mental house and move them away from your mind, or start to see them from a different point of view, not feeling you guilty for what happened, but not also wanting to, like blame on them and them and them for your misery, because blaming on them for your misery will not change anything. How you do that? Well, there are tools that are very easy to use. One of those tools is the work with the mirror, because the first way to start to love ourselves is starting to accept ourselves. And how do you accept yourself? First of all, you start accepting this, which is in many ways what we reject the most. We either look at ourselves as too tall, too short, too fat, too thin, too black, too white, too whatever. We are perfect. We are an imperfect perfection, because we all have our flaws. But as we are perfect. The body, the human body, is a perfect computer. And what all these thoughts of rejection, guilt, anger are doing is just messing up with the program of this amazing computer and creating illnesses, creating problems with physical, mental, and emotional health.
Lisa, do you think there was a tipping point for you when you suddenly realized that you were able to make different decisions? Did something happen? Was there like a catalyst, or did it just, have you always been able to do it?
Well, I have been always taking decisions, as everybody,
Yeah.
but just, I would say some 20-something years ago, is when I started to be more aware of those decisions and how and being aware of how I have taken decisions from anger or from fear. And those were the worst decisions I have taken in my life. And last 2 years ago, when I was writing my first book that was about my life, and I was writing my story, I realized how at some point I was thinking that my misery was caused by others. No, my misery has been caused for the decision I have taken, because I decided to go to work somewhere just to go far away from my mother, instead of seeing how I could mend or have a better relationship with her, or live within the same city, not living in her house, but not from the anger point of view, but from a love point of view, because we have to take our decision from a place of love, compassion, instead of from a place of anger and fear.
Easier said than done, I'm thinking. That's what's going in my head. Easier said than done. When you're in it, it's like, ooh.
Yeah, it is. But the thing is that you have two choices, and you will decide either like the movie, the blue or the red pill. Yeah. Okay? So either you decide to change things and have a happier or better life, or to continue blaming on others and living in misery. And it hurts. and you may cry your eyes out. But once you start the process and you start to, it's like an onion, you start to remove layers and layers and layers and layers and layers to find the nice onion, because the layers in the top, even there are some that they look like they are healthy, but they are like soggy. So it's the same with the process of healing. It's the same. Yeah, I have been bullied. I have been abused. I have been disrespected. I have been stigmatized, even for being a woman. I have been, and I don't remember the word now, but I have been put away from work opportunities because I was a woman. In 1975, when I became an engineer in my country, it was the first year when we massively, in 1970, it was the first year when massively women went to engineering school. And of course, when we were getting graduated, they were not used to having us in technical positions within a refinery, for example.
Yeah.
And there were even managers that told us in our face, if I have two CVs, one is an impressive CV from a woman, and one is a mediocre CV from a man, I will choose the man. Because the man doesn't get pregnant, doesn't, come on. That's discrimination, open discrimination, and in public, because it was said in a public set. And having curly hair and dark skin and a funny nose and a big mouth. Yeah, those are not the standards for beauty in the world, because we are in a patriarchal society. We are in a patriarchal society, capitalist society, for which you have to be productive, and productive means units and money. You have to be white with a very thin nose and heart-shaped lips with a very straight long hair, which I don't have, as you can see, because this is my natural hair.
No, you've got beautiful hair.
I think I love it. I love it. But it took me a while, because in my family, that's funny. My grandma has the hair so straight that even if she does the chemical curling, once she washes her hair, it will go again. So, and I'm the eldest. So she was not used to having curly hair at home. And she will do linen seeds like a jelly and comb my hair and tie my hair like that. My eyes will be like this. And when I was like 9 years old, I started to do chemical straightening on my hair. So I always was embarrassed of my hair. And the first time I let it be natural, I was in college already. And I had it for a few years. But then, as the message is that people with curly hair are Black people and they are not trustworthy and those kind of things, when I was finishing college, I changed my hairstyle. And I started again to do it wavier or completely straight. Because I thought I was not worth of having a job as an engineer with a curly hair. And I just now can see myself as a pretty woman. But all my life, I thought I was ugly and that I was worthless of love. And then I will take the first guy that will come, just because I wanted to be loved. And in many cases, those decisions that were made out of the fear of not being lonely, I don't want to be lonely, those decisions brought me to misery. brought me to men that were abusive, that abused me emotionally, economically. Thanks God that I was never abused physically, because once my second husband did this, and I don't know how, but from inside, it came like a fear woman that looked at him, I don't know with which eyes, and told him, don't dare to do it. And I don't know what he saw in my face that he did. He never touched me, but he was abusing me emotionally, verbally, and economically. And at some point I thought I was not able to cope alone with the children, until one day I realized it. I was visualizing myself killing him. I could see myself hitting his face against the wall until he fainted. And then I realized it. If I do that, if I can see it, even though at that time I was not yet, I was not aware of the power of visualization. But at that time I thought, if I see it, I can do it. And if I do it, what will happen with my daughter? And then I left him. I took my daughter, few things with me, and I left him. And then that was one of the first empowering decisions I took, even though it was out of the fear. But then I was able. I gave my daughter, I have to work like crazy, but I gave my daughter a good education. She speaks 2 languages. She has a college degree and a post education degree. She's happy, and she's more empowered than me, because she learned from me when she was growing up. And when I started to work with myself, like more deeply, back in 1996, more or less, she was with me all that process. And then she has learned also a lot of tools and techniques. And she's also a coach. She's a super intuitive and powerful coach. And she works with young moms, because she's a young mom.
I was going to say, you're a granny now, aren't you?
Yes, I have
Nice.
2 sons that I love. That's a different level of love.
Yeah.
You know, we have the love to our parents, we have the love to our friends, we have the love to our partner, and to the love to our children. But the love to the grandchildren is like, because on the other hand, they amaze me so much. And then my daughter and whenever I am with them, we are also raising them, empowering them, letting them know that they can say no, that they can, that their body is theirs, that nobody can touch them, that they always can say no, and that they never can touch somebody, at least that person give them permission to do it. They are growing in a multicultural country, because they live in Qatar. So that is giving them an opening, you know, a mind open, or an open mind, and because they can see any type of cultures and religions and colors and shapes and everything. Yeah.
It sounds from your story that you've experienced layer upon layer upon layer of trauma, and lots of different stories going on that I'm picking out. And it sounds like it had a really profound effect on you for quite a long time. It's lovely to see you glowing now and how happy you are. And congratulations on recently marrying.
Yeah. Yeah. On the 20s, I'm celebrating my second year of my second anniversary of my wedding. Yeah, and you see the power of decision, and when you decide to work with yourself and start to do the work, it is hard. even in 2021, when I was writing my book, I could find out how abusive my childhood was. And I haven't paid attention to that. Yes, I knew about my hair and about my body shape and about my voice, because I was called, my mom used to say that I have a thunder voice, because I always had like a voice that was darker for a girl than usual. So I never was like, voice. But, and now I have found that voice is
Sexy
calming.
voice.
It's
Really sexy voice.
When I was in high school, the guys in my high school, they used to call me with the name of a Mexican actress, that her voice is all sexy and
Yeah, really sexy.
And it's a voice that the people find pleasant, and it helps me to guide others. It helps me on my workshops and on my life. So yeah, I realized other things, like being the eldest, you are a mother when you are, well, I was less than 2 years old when my sister was born. So I started to be a mother and responsible for my siblings. And I did that. I was responsible for my siblings even after we grew up. My parents died. And just until 2018, I was always feeling I was responsible for them. And I was sending money, lending money, doing many things for them, sending medicines, everything. And one day I realized that they didn't need me. I needed them more than they needed me. And that day, the story changed. I decided that the only adult I'm responsible for is me, Carmita Prieto. And because I realized that I was in some way not taking care of me for taking care of them. And that's not healthy.
I love that you've always had this ability to make decisions, to have that realization that you have a choice, that you can make a decision, that you can do things differently. It's funny. I've only recently, in the last year, probably in the last 6 months actually, since I was writing a book, realized that I had something called learned helplessness, which meant that I would get to a certain point and I couldn't actually make any other decisions. I was just completely paralyzed. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what the next thing to do was to help myself. I didn't know what decisions I could make. And that was all from the trauma I had experienced as a child, that I wasn't able to move. It's only recently where I've realized that actually I do have the power to make decisions, but I was frozen for so long. So I really love that you've always been able to, over time, learn.
Yeah,
how to make decisions.
I think that what I have, obviously trauma will affect us in different ways. And I think that, that we decide either to get close to pleasure or to get far from pain. It's something like that. The process of our decisions. And I can see now that in the past, I was always taking decisions to go away from pain. But since more or less 1996, 97, when I started working with a tool called rebirthing or breath work, I started to realize that in fact, the one who was taking decision was me, because what I tend to say to the people is, you are the CEO and general manager of your life. You are the one taking the decisions. And I just realized that at that point. And then I started to take decisions or take more decisions from getting closer to love and pleasure than to run away from pain.
Nice. Totally different. It's completely different energy.
It's completely different energy. That's the point.
Yeah.
And once you take, like, give yourself the opportunity to get a glimpse of what the future, that you want is, and you start to believe that that is something you can have, and then you start to create it. Because that future, the thing is that, okay, you have your vision, and you can have the nicest vision board in the world, but if you don't take action, nothing will happen. So that's why I call my method with a glance in the future and the action in the now. Because you have to start to take actions, and you don't have to do massive actions. We are very busy. But if you want changes, you have to take at least one action a day. If we take 1 to 3 actions a day to achieve 1 to 3 objectives in 12 weeks, your life will be completely different.
Yeah.
That's the power of decision, but it's the decision.
It reminds me of 2 very different paths. And I guess what you're saying is, if you don't consciously make the power of decision and the direction that you're going in, you're just going to end up in the same direction, going the same way, not going necessarily the way that you want to go. But if you start making conscious decisions and taking action, that's the thing.
Intentional action, yeah.
Intentional action, you start to go off in a very different direction consciously.
Yeah, and Wendy, the important thing is that once you start to see the results, and once you start to take action, you start to gain motivation. And once you are achieving your 3 objectives in 12 weeks, your self-esteem will increase. You will love yourself more, and your energy will change. And then you will start like to all these serendipities and casualidades will start to occur, and the opportunities will come to you. But if we are in a place of no, it's that, the economy is so bad, and the government is doing nothing, and my husband, and because I come from I had a childhood. Where are you going? You are staying there. You are dwelling in your misery. And who wants to do that? We are all looking for being, like having well-being. And what is well-being? Is being well. So who wants to be well, to be bad? Who wants to be in misery? We are looking, all of us, we want to do that. And a part of that well-being we will find when we start to serve. When we see our job, our career, our profession, our duties at home as a service, that also is very fulfilling, because we, as human beings, we all want to be of service, but we don't see it. And unfortunately, or fortunately, the patriarchal capitalism make us think that we will be successful when we have the title, when we have the money. No, I have been there. I have done that. And I never have felt so empty as at that moment. Because the fulfillment is not outside. It's not in the house, neither in the car, or in the brand of your handbag, or in the title that is in your business card. No, fulfillment comes from feeling that your life has a purpose, that you are in some way contributing to do this a better society. No, you are just focused on my millions, because yes, money is important. That's true. But when you know your value, you will ask for your services the proper amount of money that will give you this lifestyle that you want to live. Because I don't want to have a yacht. I found it so boring and so complicated. I don't want to have an airplane. No. But I want to live comfortably. I want to go to concerts and to travel and to dress nicely and to go to nice restaurants and be served nicely and be healthy and sleep well at night. And I don't want to be stressed out. That's my lifestyle. So that lifestyle have a requirement in money. It may be millions, it may not be millions. All depends on what is your lifestyle or what is that is fulfilling for you. Because some people have almost nothing and feel more fulfilled than many millionaires. And that you have seen, and me too.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk to me a little bit more about, if it's okay, the exercise that people can do to help them. So you spoke about 3 objectives, I think it was. Work towards doing 3 points of action.
Okay, there are several things they can do. The first thing is starting to work on their self-love. And for doing that, I have found the most powerful tool is the mirror work. It's an exercise I learned from Louis A very well-known speaker and author. And it's just it's as easy as looking at yourself in the mirror, looking at your eyes. You can do it when you are going to brush your teeth, either in the morning or in the evening, and look at yourself in your eyes and say, such and such, I love you and I accept you just as you are. In my case, Carmita, I love you and accept you just as you are. And looking at your eyes. At the beginning, it is hard. But once you do it, you can even say, Carmita, I love you and accept you just as you are. Carmita, you are loved and accepted just as you are. Carmita, she is loved and accepted just as she is. And that little by little will start to fade that to fade that fear and to open your heart to yourself.
Nice.
There is a work with affirmations, but affirmations can have their positive side and their negative side, but there are some keys to affirmations. One is that they always are positive. They state what you want. For example, I am healthy and I am healthy and full of energy and enthusiasm. That's an affirmation. Instead of saying, I want to be healthy, no, you start to state, I am healthy. If this is too hard for you, you can start saying, I am open to be healthy, full of energy and enthusiasm. Or I'm open to believe that I'm loved and accepted just as I am. And instead of saying I'm loved and accepted just as I am, because maybe that's too hard if your trauma is too complicated. So those 2 tools are very useful when working on your self-love. When working on what you want, the most powerful tool you can use is vision. Visualizing what you want. And in that sense, you can just take this as a starting point. You are creating your life every day with your decisions, your actions, your attitudes, and your thoughts. Then, if you could create a life that is fulfilling, who will you be? Or who would you be? What would you be doing with your time? What would you have that you really appreciate, that is a treasure for you? And with whom you will relate, either in person or but through books, trainings, or those things that is like nurturing you, and how that life would be. So what I advise is just to take a time a pencil and a paper, take some deep breaths, and ask these questions and write them down. And then the last part is how that life will be. So you write down and you let your imagination flow with no control, with no criticism, with nothing. Let your imagination flow, because it will not show you something that you cannot achieve. It will show you what is possible for you. Once you have that clear, then the next step could be, okay, in 12 weeks, what 3 things I could achieve that will put me in the way to that vision? Because that vision is timeless. Then you start to put the steps in the now for the next 12 weeks. And then with these 3 objectives, you have to start saying, okay, what actions can I take for achieving this and this and this and this? And then every day you will take action, intentional action. Those actions that you said you will do, and that you have put even a date. I will have done this by such and such date, and this by such and such date, and this by such and such date. Okay, to achieve this in this date, what do I have to do? And then you can do a plan, easy. And then every week, set yourself at least 3 objectives. This week I will do this and this and this. And then every day you take action, one by one. Sometimes, for example, if you want to be more flexible and have, let's say, lose some weight. Okay, the first thing you have to do is decide what path you will take. Either a diet or going to the gym or both. Okay, if you want to go to the gym, one action is to identify which gym you are going to, register in the gym, set the date, the time of each day when you will go to the gym, and start to take it and start to do it. It's not that complicated. The thing is that sometimes we put a gazillion amount of goals, and then of course you are overwhelmed because you already have a partner, a children, a job, many other things. If you have to add a gazillion amount of things to that, and then out of overwhelm, you do nothing. Because that's what we do. We are overwhelmed, and I know it. It's the same with the order. All those things that have to do, if you don't make your bed in the morning when you wake up, you already are not setting a good start for the day. And you will come in the evening to that bed that is a mess. No, your future self, your evening self deserves to come to a nice bed at night. So it only takes a few minutes. Sometimes
I really love that you're mixing the action with the mindset piece. Because a lot of people just focusing on the action and they forget the mindset piece, but actually the 2 things go together. You can't have one without the other. And people often forget the mindset and they say, focus on your goals. And that's why people don't achieve them, because they don't do the mindset.
Yeah. If you want to be a renowned bestseller author, and you are afraid of that, you will not have it. And that's why we have to work in our mindset. And that's the hardest part. And these days, I decided 2 days ago that I want to go with, I want to be less, to be less, complain less and criticize less. Even though I criticize a lot less than I used to do in the past, because of course, if you have been criticized all your life, you are criticizing everybody because that's the normal behavior. So even though I recognize I criticize a lot less, I said, I want to stop with that. That's not helpful. I don't know what is behind the life of that person. So how can I criticize somebody? Oh my gosh. Of course, now I am more conscious on that. You cannot imagine how many times in 3 days I have found myself criticizing or complaining. Oh, Carmen Prieto, come on. It's unbelievable.
I can believe it, because when I first started becoming more conscious about my thoughts, I was working with a psychiatrist, and he gave me this thing to say. My partner thought I was crazy. He gave me these words to say to stop me criticizing myself or other people. And literally it was nonstop. It was nonstop. It was just nonstop. It was relentless. It was quite shocking. It was really shocking.
Yeah, it is. Because I found myself so many times. I go walking in the park, and then the first thing I see a person, they say too skinny. The first thing that comes to my mind is, my goodness, how she can be so skinny? That's not your business.
It makes life a lot easier, doesn't it, not to hold those thoughts? It's just calmer, safer, less stress. Oh, it's such a better place to be.
Yeah, but we are so prompt to criticize others, and we don't know what is happening in their life. When you see somebody in the street, I have, sometimes it happens to me, I see somebody who looks so sad or so miserable. What I do is I say, God, have mercy on him. Or God has mercy on her. Because I cannot imagine the hard life that person is living. And even sometimes I just smile at them, like trying to give them a bit of a light, and they don't see your smile. And I feel pity, and I know I can do nothing but pray to God that please have mercy on that person. Show them the way. I don't know. I guess that, I think that that God always shows us the way, even though we sometimes don't see it. Even I used to say that if there is something you have to heal in your life, and you don't do it, you will avoid the situation, and then it will come bigger. And you will avoid the situation, and it will come bigger, until one day it will come like a rock, and either you see it and do the healing, or you get inhabilitated in that area of your life.
Get stuck.
It's a decision.
Yes. Stepping into the conscious space, I think. It's one thing that's really come out from this summit is about decisions, about being conscious of creating a choice. It's really, everybody is saying the same thing, which is really, really insightful. Really, I find it really interesting.
Because we are just in the process of changing from an era to another one. So more people is becoming conscious of that, and this is not helping us.
No, it's not.
This is a more numbing tool that you can have. Yes, it's an addiction.
It's an addiction.
Either the small one like this or the big one like this.
Yeah.
But
I'm
it can
completely addicted. And as for ChatGPT, I'm even addicted to something else.
Yeah, but the thing is that everything has to have a purpose. So if you have your vision, you can use ChatGPT and many other tools, but it has to be with the purpose of helping you make your vision a reality. So everything has to be intentional. That's what will take us out of the addiction.
Yeah.
I use this to learn Dutch. I'm learning Dutch because my husband is Dutch. And I use it to learn Dutch. But I realize there are moments when I get hooked on the Instagram. So what I do is I try to leave it away. I have silence groups because there are groups where they are saying silly things all the whole day. I don't want to have the bling, 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 distracting me. And one powerful thing to get those actions that you need to do to get your 3 objectives is define time blocks. Time blocks that are strategic are those time blocks that where you will make the action that will take you to your objective and to your vision. And then you can have buffered time blocks that is for watching things or responding emails or phone calls that are not that important for your objective. And then you have a block that is very important and should be in the early morning. Is the flow or energy block. Is a moment when you do meditation, review your vision, plan your day, do that time for you so that you nourish yourself and then you can nourish others. Otherwise, you will be empty. You cannot give from an empty cup.
Yeah. Isn't that the truth? Carmita, how can people get hold of you?
Well, they can find me in Instagram with Carmita Prieto, Carmita.Prieto is my Instagram. And they can find me in LinkedIn also as Carmita Prieto. And my website is carmita@carmitaprieto.com. It's very easy.
And a lovely website it is as well. I love your branding.
Yeah, but I want to change it because the photos are too old. I have still the photos from where I used to dye my hair. So I have to update it. It's a little bit, and if they want to email me, it's just easy. Carmita@carmitaprieto.com.
Lovely. And I'll put all the links below the video anyway, so people can just click and access them and get hold of you. Thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. It's lovely to spend some time with you. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has been, yeah. And lovely to see you. You are also radiant. I can see you are happy there in your little island.
Yeah, I'm so with you. I think we're both glowing. You're glowing. You're glowing like I've never seen you glow before, actually. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take